Hey y'all, what's cracking? So I'm going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé, and it's a lot to get into and unpack, but I'm gonna do it in a timely fashion so y'all don't waste your time and I don't waste mine. So season 5, episode 10. I got my notes because y'all know I forget a lot. So Andre and Elizabeth. Now we know last week was a shit show. They argue and they fight and they've been drinking, and you know when alcohol comes into play, you just say how you really feel, like Andre did, and try to front. So Libby and him are walking, and she's just like, I don't even know what happened. First of all, like, I get it's for TV, but y'all gotta act like y'all didn't have this conversation last night. Because we just don't go to bed and don't talk about you just try to fight my family. We don't do that. And he's like, she says, oh, you have to apologize to my brother and my father. And he's like, well, they were making jokes about me and I wasn't here for it. And it's just, Charlie did too much. And ask the real questions. Why'd you try to fight him? Why are you being so secretive? If my family comes to a dinner to meet my fiance's friends, it's going to be some questions and answers. Like, what was he like when y'all was together? What made him move with y'all? And it's just conversation. If you ain't had nothing, ain't nothing to say, ain't nothing to do, ain't nothing to get all pissed off about, unless, like Libby said, you're hiding something. Now, her sister and her mom didn't come, and we already know how her sister's mouth is out of control. So she's like, well, Charlie was pushing me, and the alcohol is speaking, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, well, you have to apologize. And then Andre is like, yeah, I'll apologize to Chuck because that's your father, but I'm not apologizing to Charlie. And she's like, no. And then he's saying to her, like, you go and start the conversation. Then I'm going to just jump on in. She's like, no, I'm not going to mediate the conversation. You have my father's number, my brother's number. Call one of the two, text him and say, can we talk? What's hard? You good and grown, right? Go do that. And then she goes over to talk to her dad anyway to break the ice. And we already know, because she do what he say, she don't push back or she don't force. No, you grown, you did the initiating of the fight. You go talk to him. I'm not getting involved in this because I'm tired of being in the middle. But of course, typical Libby, she goes over there, she talks to him, and the dad is like, no, if he doesn't give me a sincere apology, I'm packing up, because he told the dad last week, go back to effing America. So he could pack up his saddle, pack up his checkbook, pack up his money, pack up his deposits, and roll out with the son. Ain't got to pay for nothing. So Andre says, well, I got to kind of play nice because they're paying for stuff. Excuse me? So it's never going to be a sincere apology. It's never going to be the truth because he is just fronting to get that coin, get that scratch, get that wedding done for his family. Next, Angela and Michael. So they have to go to a counseling session as part of their admin process for getting married in Nigeria, and Angela is still confused as to why this has to happen. And I'm like, is there a book like Nigerian Marriage 101? Because every time he takes her to do something as part of the process, she sits there and questions everything. He wouldn't do anything that just didn't need to be done, so stop it. Oh my gosh. So they get there and they're asking, how did they meet? Michael says, we met on Facebook. It's just something about her that I kept looking at her and I clicked on her page to like it. So I'm thinking, was Facebook dating? But was Facebook dating out 3 years ago? I don't know. So I'm wondering how you got to her on Facebook, but we're going to move on. Because that just don't, it's something in the milk ain't clean. So who are the people? I guess the counselors were like, we see you was married for 3 years before, or you were previously married and you got divorced. What happened? And she goes, I got married when I was 17. We stayed together for 3 years. It didn't work out. It was young love and whatever. So they're telling her, you have 3 options. Traditional marriage, where you can marry more than one woman and you can have, no matter what, 1, 2, 3 wives. She's like, no, we're not doing that. Islamic. It's same as the traditional. So I don't know if it's because it's the religion is involved. I don't know. And then the statute law marriage, where it's one woman and one man. And Angela's like, he can't have no side chicks, right? And the counselor's like, no. That's only in the first 2. as long as you satisfy him sexually and the bed is made up properly and his food is cooked in total submission. But okay. And Angela's like, she keeps shaking her head because she doesn't want to get denied. So she's not going to, fight against it because she knows what she needs to do. So they get outside and she's like, I agreed, but that's not how it's going to be. We equal. And then they show the confessional for the counselors, and they're like, if the man is not the top in the head, the marriage isn't going to work. They're very set in their ways in Nigeria. I couldn't be with them, a Nigerian man. My bed ain't made right now. You getting leftovers for dinner. Sorry, it's just going to be what it's going to be. And then she keeps telling her that's not gonna work for the U.S. And he's like, yeah, I know, baby, I know. He keeps saying that, and he keeps I knowing her to death, but they're not gonna work out because she can't have a baby. He don't want her to have a second wife to have a baby only with. He don't want her to have a concubine to get what he needs for his legacy. It's not gonna work. And then they meet up with his aunt. And the aunt is like, Angela, your attitude is very wrong. You're very bossy. And Michael, you allow this. And Angela's like, no, you have to respect my culture. I get his culture, but you have to respect mine. We're combining cultures, which I get. You're combining cultures. But Angela's, I think it's the word submission bothers her. And maybe it was in her previous relationships or something, but the word submission bothers her. Hell, it bothers me. Because my husband will tell you in a minute, didn't they say obey? And I'll crack up laughing, obey. And I don't know if it's an American thing. We just not. No, that's just, no. Maybe, what's the word? You agree to disagree. You go along to get along. You have conversations about stuff, but it's never going to be no, yes, my prince. Yes, my king. No, it's never going to be none of that. So let's cut that out right now. Sorry, it's never going to be me. And a lot of people I also know. But again, if that's your culture, then you do what you got to do, brother and or sister. So then the next one, Larissa and Eric. We're not going to talk about them long because they are really pointless being on the show. I think she forced her way on the show. She can keep getting a check to get her face done and keep up her cell phone bill because she don't do nothing else. And then she's just like, Eric, she tells Eric, I can't live here knowing people can threaten to call cops on me. He's like, no, that's not going to happen. They seem to be back together. Moving on. Sinjin and Tanya, he goes out with his friends and he's very excited. Tanya's not there, thank God. And they're just like, oh my gosh, you gained so much weight. And he said, yeah, I gained like 20 pounds. And and then his friends are like, oh my gosh, he's talking in pounds and not kilograms, what they do over there. And they're like, how is it? And they ask, are you happy? He goes, I could be happier. We fight a lot, but I'm fine. And he says, but I wish we would have waited longer because I met her over here in 90 days. I had to get married, move to another country. He said it was a whirlwind, which is true. You met her over there, y'all was close, and then y'all dated for a little bit, and then boom, y'all married. It's a lot. You don't know everybody in 90 days. I don't care how much you spend time together. You don't know them one-on-one and in a house and not on vacation. And then Colt and Jess, you saw the last episode where Jess got upset because Colt was talking to Vanessa. The mother purposely did that, and that's how they got into a fight, and she left, and she was like, oh, I'm going to go sleep with my boyfriend, and I'm leaving you, and she went on and on and on. So he wakes up. Here go the picture we wake up to, y'all. Yeah, so that's the picture we wake up to. No body shaming, but, we know how Colt do. Then she's like, he's like, really? He got his own room because apparently she came with another man to their room and they were loud and drunk. Security came. Colt has got another room, and then he gets up in the morning and goes to her room. And he's like, really? You threw a shoe at me? And he kept with this shoe thing. And I'm like, nothing else is going to matter? You don't say about what happened with the guy and why the guy was with her last night. You don't talk about that, but you talk about this damn shoe. And then she's like, no, Vanessa, you lie, you lie, you lie, you lie. And he's like, no, I'm not sleeping with Vanessa. She's a friend. And I'm like, why don't you just tell this woman that y'all had relations at one point? Y'all slept together one time and then move on. Because when she finds out y'all did, she gonna throw more than a shoe at you. She gonna throw more than a shoe at you. I don't understand why you can't just, but whatever. And then they kind of move past it, and she's like, well, you're right. I know you're friends because I have a better face and a better body and better sex. If that's all you got to offer him, what they say in the Players Club, you got to use what you got to get what she want. And she using her glasses, her body, and her face to get what Colt, and so be it. She's crazy. She's crazy. And he's telling her, like, you have to stop being so jealous. I basically asked your dad to marry you. And she gets all quiet. And then he says, so what are we doing? Are we breaking up? I have to go back to America today. I'm getting my mom. And do you want to come with me to the airport? And she's like, yeah, I come with you. And then they go to the airport and they kiss. And she doesn't want him to leave. And then the mom is like, all right, like, wrap this shit up. Let's go. And then you see the confessional. And I'll show you. She thought he was going to propose to her. He didn't, thank God. So they go back. Then we have Kalani and Asuelo. Let me tell y'all something. No, I'm going to save them to the end. Because they touched a nerve and they was tap dancing all over it. Karine and Paul. Karine is upset. We don't know why. Paul says she does this often, and she'll lock herself in the bathroom for 5 to 6 hours and she won't answer him. But as you see him going through, Karine, you okay, baby? What? She's not saying anything. He's still talking. It's like, don't you get it? If she's done this before and you keep talking and she's not answering, why do you keep talking? Sometimes we get in the mood and we want to be left alone. That means you don't say nothing, you don't do it. So just shut up, and when I come to you, then I'm ready. Is it right? Maybe not. But she don't have her family. She don't have her mom, who was always there with her. And she's in a strange country. She can't drive. She can't walk around except in the trailer park. And they're in one room. It's the kitchen, living room, dining room, all in the same thing, and they have a bathroom. That's the only outlet she has, is a bathroom. It's a lot of pressure on her. He's still not working, and we already know, ladies, being with your husband is good one-on-one, but not every single day, 7 to 10 days straight. And he can't find a job because of his arson history, but it is like you knew that before you came back. In my opinion, you should have came back first and said, Karine, I'm going to go try to get work, get a place, and then I'll come back and come for you. But we're going to just stop. So then he's like, he keeps knocking on the door. She's not answering. And then he's like, my mom is coming over to see the baby. Karine, my mom's coming. My mom's coming. And she's not answering him. So she finally comes out, and the mom is pulling at the same time. And she's like, Paul, stop. Paul, no, stop. I don't care. That's your problem. Like, the mother's here. That's your problem, not mine. I'm leaving. So she comes outside to the mom, and she's like, what did she say? I think I'm not feeling good, or it's not a good day or something. And then she just walks off. So the mom tries to walk off behind her, and she's like, please stop. Like, just give me a minute. And the mom stops because she gets it. And Karine keeps walking. And then we have Paul. I'm going to show you Paul and how Paul runs after Karine. Show video. Okay, so there we go. Paul running after Karine. And then, the mom says, Paul, get your shit together, basically. I'm not helping you no more. You have to do better. Maybe she's upset with you. And, just do better. He's swatting flies. She goes, why are so many flies in his house? I don't know either, because it's one room. Why is there flies all in his house? And he's swatting flies. And he's like, Mom, I know. But then he says some crazy mess. Like, she wants to do everything around the house. She wants to cook. She wants to clean. She wants to take care of the baby and change his diapers. But if I get a job, she has to change the diapers on her own. So? You think she can't change the diaper on her own if you ain't there? Anyway. So now Kalani and Asuelo. So his mom, I think something's wrong with that whole side of it. Something's wrong. Something isn't clicking. So it starts with the confessional that Tammy says, we thought an American girl will help out with our family to send money. Then Asuelo goes to his mom's house basically alone because he didn't want Kalani there, and making the situation worse than it was that night before. And then the brother-in-law pops out. He's black guy. I'm like, who you married to? The one that's deaf or the one that got a big mouth and don't back nothing up? Interesting. Because I want to know, does he let you send money? Does he send money? I need to understand who this man is now. I'm concerned. He brings the gift that he bought for the family, and he wants to talk about what happened last night. And his mom is like, you have to keep the culture. You have to understand how it works. And he's like, Mom, I know, but basically, I have a wife and 2 kids. I can't send money like I was single. I'm not single anymore. And I feel like we can't be close if money's not involved. Kalani's family is not like that. They don't always talk about money, and they're still close. And here go Tammy, his sister. Kalani's family. And I'm like, so? And she goes, and he's like, well, you're controlled because she's older. She ain't that much older than him, first of all. And then she's like, I always send money. I don't care what happens in my house. I still send money. I'd love to see how this works out. And he's like, y'all been here a long time, so y'all basically got it down packed. Y'all know how stuff works. I just got here. I'm still learning. And I haven't found a full-time job yet. Why don't they understand that? I don't. So, Tammy's like, what did she say? The family, she says, we're not asking Kalani's family for money. We're asking for your money. Basically, run your pockets. Let her take care of the kids in the house, and your money goes all of us. How about you show them a check? You shouldn't even have to do that, but because his family is so demanding and just, for lack of better words, not smart. Yeah, because you can't expect this man to do this. And then Tammy is like, oh, she controls him, and she's going on and on. He's just looking around, and the mom is like, he's too young. He doesn't know what to do. And his face is just like, really? And he's getting pissed. And then the mom, he keeps saying to them, like, I'm not single. When I was single, I basically sent money. I sent money whenever y'all needed it. And the mom said, yeah, you was my baby boy. You always sent money. Your father still lives over there. Let's start with that. So y'all send money to the father to live while he ain't with the mother? I don't know, because they keep saying like they're together, but they're not together. So I'm confused. And then he gets up and leaves, and the mom is like, no, stay for food, stay. I cooked your food for you. And he's just like, no, Mom. He gives her a kiss respectfully, and it's like, no, I got to roll out because I'm not with this. And their family's mentality, the bottom line is this. The family's mentality of how they're treating him with this money is insane to me. Insane. They go back to the goat farm, and they're talking, and he basically cries and breaks down. And he's like, he's looking at the family that has the tents on the other side. She goes, oh, he's showing you that's how people live who don't have money. Basically, we'll be in a tent if we don't pay these bills. And then Asuelo starts crying, and he's like, if we don't have money, my kids are gonna die. And he starts crying. So insert dramatic cry, like, come on. And the mom is looking at him like, I mean, okay, so when you gonna send more money? Like, she don't care. She don't care. She don't care. And she don't care. Thank God Tammy wasn't there. And it's heartbreaking to see that his mom doesn't care, and she still wants to send money. And she still thinks Kalani's family is rich and that he owes them nothing. And he's supposed to give his whole check to them. It's sad, very, very, very sad. And then they show scenes for the next episode with that family, and you see Tammy like lunge after Kalani, and Kalani's like, if she would have connected with me, I would have dropped her. Y'all have to know Kalani is Samoan too, right? Like, y'all act like she's some American girl because she wasn't raised in Samoa. I don't. We gonna see, but his family drives me up the wall, and they don't care. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Talk to y'all later.